What's going on, it's your boy JT, and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Stories. The series, of course, will go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. And boy, does it feel so good to be back here with you guys. We had a little week hiatus, but we are back and raring to go, and I cannot wait for the stream tomorrow. So make sure you're tuned in from about 7:30. We are going to be going live. Leeds United versus Watford, but let's not waffle anymore. Let's get on to the main task at hand, and that is Watford City tomorrow, 8 o'clock at Vicarage Road. How are Leeds United going to fare? It's the first time we're going into a game this season on the top of the table. Well, actually, I say that, but Leicester and Ipswich still have to play before us, so we might not necessarily be top of the table by the time the game happens. But it is the first time that we're going into a match week where we are at the top of the table and we're not looking above us at other teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how we fare with that one. Now, first of all, I do want to talk about the main topic, the thing that everybody has been questioning all week ever since his surgery. Is Georginio Rutter going to be fit in time to play against Watford? It is no doubt, no surprise to absolutely anybody just how pivotal Georginio Rutter has been to every single thing we've done this season. I mean, his XG, his expected assists, everything has been off the charts this season. He is our best creative player. Are we going to be able to do it without him? That's a question none of us really want to know. But thankfully, Daniel Farke did clear a few things up in his pre-match press conference. What he did say is hopefully that he is going to be able to feature for some minutes, which is a positive spell. He stated yesterday that he was in training, but he had only done a few individual drills and he hadn't joined the team training yet. He then followed up saying there's a few concerns. Rutter is on a good path. There is still 48 hours for him to get ready. We are carefully optimistic that he is available for some minutes, and we will wait for the outcome of the assessment. So, could be positive signs. Unfortunately, what I read into that is that Georginio Rutter is not going to be starting against Watford, but he may potentially come off the bench and feature for about 45 minutes of action, maybe 30, maybe 20. Hopefully, at most, we could probably get a second half out of him, but even that, I doubt. I presume it will be more around the 30-minute mark. How do you guys see us that affecting our game? And more importantly, who would you replace him with? Would you put Perot in the 10? Would you move Somerville to the 10? Maybe put Jaden Anthony on the wing? Would you drop Bamford and put Joseph in there and try and work around that way? How would you readjust with Georginio Rutter probably not starting for Leeds United? That is the first question, and there is a whole lot more injury news. We'll get into that in just a bit. But I do want to touch on our opposition, and more importantly, the changes within our opposition that have happened very recently. The main one being a managerial shift on the 9th of March. Obviously, Watford were looking in dire straits. They had to get rid of their manager, and they brought in, of all people, Tom Cleverley, Mr. Thomas Cleverley, who is now the Watford boss. He started off with a flying start against Birmingham with a nice 1-0 win, and now he has his first home game in charge against Leeds United. And he's come out with some interesting comments surrounding Leeds, obviously, as you'd expect. Tom Cleverley and Leeds, not the best relationship, should we say, but he believes Leeds United will be feeling the squeeze as they prepare to take on Watford at Vicarage Road on Friday night. The championship promotion race is on a knife edge at present, and Daniel's Farke side are aware that every point counts as they push towards the return to the top flight, which has got quite a few Leeds fans talking. Thomas Cleverley coming out and saying, listen, it's not a crutch match for us. It's not a crunch match. There's not a lot of pressure on us. I still want the lads to perform well, but we don't have the pressure. And he is apparently very familiar with what it's like to be at the tail end of a championship campaign near the top of the table, and believes Leeds will be under a lot of pressure. What do you guys make into those comments? Do you think that he is maybe just trying to G up his players, maybe a bit of mind game with ours? Or do you think there's a bit of sour grapes potentially with that Man U factor? How do you guys buy into Tom Cleverley's comments? Now, let's forget his comments and let's move on to his team, the team that we are going to be playing against, Watford. Now, we don't have a huge sample size as to how exactly they're going to play because this is only their second game under Tom Cleverley, and the first game was a quick game, quick turnover of a new manager, so you can't really implement that much, but they've had a whole international break now for Tom Cleverley to implement all his new game plans, his philosophies, his styles, his tactics, and we haven't yet seen how that's going to look because he is a completely fresh and new manager that's being thrown into the mix. So we don't quite know exactly how they're going to perform, how they're going to line up, how they're going to set up. So it is a little bit of a surprise factor for Leeds, and that is the only thing that I would say causes me a little bit of fear going into this game, is that there is a surprise and there is the unknown of how exactly Watford are going to deploy. But hopefully it is nothing, too dangerous. How do you guys feel about that? Are you confident along the lines of the fact that it's one of his first games, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem? Or are you more looking at the side of, we don't really know how they're going to line up. We're going to have to really pull our finger out to get the win in this game and hopefully, hold ourselves in good stead. Now, whilst it is only their second game under Tom Cleverley and a really new prospect to be thrown into the mix, it is still a game that Leeds have to win. How are we going to beat Watford at Vicarage Road away under the bright lights, the brightest lights of them all on Good Friday? How are we going to get the job done? I'm going to tell you how we're going to get the job done. We're not going to give them a moment to establish their game plan. Listen, they've had a week and a half, 2 weeks to prepare themselves for this game, for Tom Cleverley to get all his ideas out of the scrapbook, get all of his new, fresh philosophies, inject them into the players, fill them with so much confidence and belief that they're going to win. And if you allow that to fester, if you allow the home fans to start to get a little bit of confidence going, to breed that into the players, then that will spell big trouble for Leeds United. There's only one way that Leeds win this game, and that one way is to take the game to them early, attack them with pace, attack them with energy, and go absolutely hell for leather in that opening 10 to 15 minutes. And if we're able to nick a goal, that is when you'll see Watford's plans unravel, because everything that they've been talking about, everything that they've been planning, I can guarantee you consists of keeping it clean at the back and nicking a goal down the other end. Because that is what every single team has done, bar Leicester, when they have come to play Leeds. Even Ipswich tried it a little bit. Every single side wants to keep it clean at the other end and nick a goal and force Leeds to come out against them. However, if we're able to utilise Somerville's pace on the wing, yes, we're not going to have Rutter to play him in, but we're still going to have probably a Joel Perreault or someone who is capable in that midfield. If you can utilise the wide men, if you can utilise Somerville, if you can get, Nonto might be playing Dan James into the game on the right-hand side and just really, really pepper them down the wings, get some crosses into the box early, get Bamford involved on the pitch, and hopefully get an early goal. And I think if we're able to do that, it will be a much more comfortable game for Leeds, and we will, we'll be able to sit back. We'll allow Watford to come onto us, and we'll start to see them unravel a little bit, them question themselves, them decide, are these tactics all right? We haven't really tried them out before, and if they're still trying to master plan A, how are they going to have a plan B suited that quickly? I'm going to tell you, they're not. So that's something that we have to figure out as a team, and that's something that I believe we have to use to beat them. Now, what players are we going to use? There is a lot of information coming out in a negative sense for Leeds in terms of injuries. Now, the injury problems are as follows for Leeds. The injury problems consist of 3 main men, and those 3 main men are obviously Connor Roberts, who came off limping in the international break. You got Nonto, who's not a sure starter, and you got Ilya Gruev, who we're not 100% sure is going to start. And we had some comments from Daniel Fark on these injuries. He said, whilst he is carefully optimistic that Rutter may play, Connor Roberts limped off for Wales against Poland. We need to assess him. If you limp off the pitch, you are not available 2 days later. So it does seem like Connor Roberts is a no-go, which means, not too much for Leeds implication-wise, because I think at right back we're actually quite strong right now, because you've got either Archie Gray or obviously Byram who can come in. He said it seems to be a muscle injury. Same for Nonto. He reported a problem with his hamstring after the game. We wait for his assessment. So again, the way he's talking about that leads me to believe that Nonto probably won't feature either. And same for Gruev. He has an ankle ligament issue after their game. We await their assessment. So it does seem like those three are going to be completely out. I think the one that is more likely to potentially play out of all of them is Ilya Gruev. Furthermore, we have some more injury news that came out. Breaking news today, this afternoon. And that is that Stroik and Darko JB will be out for the rest of the season. A lot of people were hoping Stroik could get himself back involved coming the last 2-3 games of the season. However, he is going to be out of the squad, and that is that. Now, how does that lead Leeds to line up? How are Leeds going to line up and destroy Watford on Friday with this new team news in mind? For me, I'm going to be starting with the main man, Meslier, in goal. Centre-half pairing is going to be Joe Rodon, and it's going to be Ethan Ampadu next to him. At right back, I'm talking Archie Gray, Reginald McGray III. Left back, Senior, Daddy, Tier Subscription, Firpo. I'm going to be going with a two-man holding pivot of both Kamara, and I think he will just about be fit in time, and that is going to be Gruev. I am still going to go with Gruev and Kamara. Right now, it's not ruled out, and I think he will just about push Gruev into the side. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But if he is out, I would put Archie Gray in the midfield pivot with Kamara, and then I would move Sam Byram out to right back. That's what I would do. Now, on the left-hand side, I'm going to have Somerville. On the right-hand side, I'm going to have Dan James. In the centre attacking midfield point, this is where things get a little bit interesting. I think what he is going to go with is going to end up being Joel Perreault, and then I think we're going to have Patrick Bamford up front. That is what my lineup is looking like. That's my predicted lineup. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it's too offensive? Do you think maybe I got a couple of decisions wrong? Please let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below in terms of the lineup. Now, as for my scores on the doors, how do I think Leeds are going to fare tomorrow against Watford? I believe Leeds are going to win 3-0. I think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think that's going to be key. And I think once we get the first goal, Watford are going to slowly start to crumble at the seams. They're going to start searching for a plan B. But guess what? When your plan A has not been mastered yet and you haven't had enough time to properly cultivate it into your team system, you're not really going to have a plan B. So I think if we're able to get that early goal, which I believe we will, we're going to slowly sit back, watch them start to unravel. I think the second half they're going to come out a little bit more aggressive. They're going to try and take the games to Leeds to try and level the score, potentially, take the lead. And I think at that moment is when Leeds pick them off on the counter-attack. I think we're going to have Rutter coming on in the second half, pinging the balls around. And I think Leeds will beat Watford 3-0. Let me know your scores on the doors down in the comment section down below. But for now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.